Alright, so more reaction balancing problems. And over here we've got one silver and then two silvers over here. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put a 2 in front of here like this. That balances out my silver. Now I've got two NO3s because I put the 2 there. And that means I'm going to need two NO3s over here. So the only way I can do that is to put a 2 in front of there. Now when I do that, I've got two hydrogens. I go over here, I see I've got two hydrogens, so that's okay. And we've got one sulfur and one sulfur. So everything looks alright, and everything looks like it's balanced out on this one. Okay, so on this one here, we've got one aluminum over here, we've got two aluminums over here, so I'll go ahead and put a 2 in front of there. And you can see that we don't have any OH groups. We've got H2O, but we don't have any OH groups, so I can't treat these as just OHs. What I can do is treat them as separate oxygens and hydrogens, and it might be helpful here just to draw a picture so you can see what I'm doing. But we've got two AlOH3s, which are going to look like this. And you can see that there's going to be 6 oxygens and 6 hydrogens there. So I go over here and I see that I don't really want to deal with the hydrogens at this point, because you can see I've got hydrogens here and I've got hydrogens here. So what I'm going to focus on is the oxygens, because they only appear here and here. Now I know they appear as the SO4s, but we're just going to consider the SO4s as groups, so we don't need to consider those oxygens in what we're doing here. Alright, you'll see what I mean by that in a second. Alright, so I've got 6 oxygens here, which means I'm going to need 6 over this side. And that's how I'm going to balance out the O's. Now as you can see, I've got now 6 times 2 is 12 hydrogens, and I'm going to have to sort those out. But I'm going to leave those till the end, because as I said earlier, I've got them here and here and now over here as well. So what I'm going to do is do something a little bit easier. I'll go ahead and try and soften up the SO4s. So I've got one SO4 here and I've got 3 SO4s here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put a 3 in front of here, and that's going to balance out my SO4s. Alright, let's count up our hydrogens and see how they're doing. So as I said, over here I've got a total of 6 here. I've got another 6 here and 3 H2SO4s. That's a total of 12 on this side. Now over here I've got 6 times 2 is 12, so it looks like those have balanced out as well. So I just put a 1 in front of here, and it looks like everything is balanced out for that one now. Alright, let's take a look at the next one, the Al2CO33 and the Al2O3 and the CO2. And I've got 2 aluminums here and 2 aluminums here. And I can't handle the carbonates as CO3s as single groups, because I've only got CO3 over here and there's no CO3s over here. It's a CO2 now. So I'm going to have to handle these each as separate atoms. The last thing I want to touch is the oxygen. That's because the oxygen appears here, here, and here. So I'm going to handle everything but that first. Alright, so let's take a look at this one here. We've got 2 aluminums and 2 aluminums. We've got 3 carbons, and now I'm going to have to put a 3 in front of this C as well, and that will fix that up. Now let's look at the oxygen. So I've got 3 times 3 is 9. Now just in case you don't believe me, there are 9 there. I'll do what Al2CO33 looks like. And you can see it's 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9. And that gives me 2 aluminums and 9 oxygens and 3 carbons. Alright, so let's take a look at the rest of this. That's 9 oxygens here. Over here we've got 3 oxygens, and then we've got 6 oxygens here. So 3 plus 6 is 9. So that's all balanced out as well. 1 and 1, and that's all fixed up too. Alright, so looking at the next one, we've got what is the sum of the coefficients after balancing for this one. Now the NH4s, you can see I can treat those as just single groups because they appear on both sides. Now what I'll do is I'll say, well, I've got one NH4 here and one NH4 here, so that's okay. And I've got 2 Cls here and just 1 Cl here. So what I'll do is I'll put a 2 in front of here, and that will balance out my Cls. But when I do that, you can see I've got 2 NH4 groups now, so I'll put a 2 in front of here. And that's going to give me 2 NH4s and 2 Is. I've already got 2 Is over here, so that's all balanced out as well. And that's 1, and that's 1. And that's completed. Alright, so looking at the last one here, CrCl3 I've got one CR here, I've got one CR here, that looks okay for now. I've got 3 CLs here and 1 CL here, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put a 3 in front of the AgCl. That gives me 3 silvers over here, so I'll put a 3 in front of that Ag as well. And that gives me 3 NO3s. And now I've got 3 NO3s over here as well. Alright, so everything looks balanced. 1 CR, 3 CLs, 3 AGs and 3 NO3s. Everything looks okay. I'll put a 1 here and a 1 here, and everything is balanced.